How much of your own personality did you bring to the character of the Doctor? He's precise, flamboyant, confident, paternalistic, outrages injustice, addicted to gadgets, some even say arrogant.
Here he sits.
That's it?
Yeah, that's me, yes.
So they pretty much tailored the...
Yes, they did. Well, they allowed me to tailor it to what I liked. I mean, I love gadgetry and I like speed and all these idiotic things that I used to use in Doctor Who, like hovercraft and jet boats and all these things. And if I found anything anywhere, I'd ring up Barry Letts and say, hey, I found a marvelous jet boat that doesn't go over a wave, it goes through the middle of it. He said, great, let's get it in. And we used to put it in the program. Okay. In fact, if you haven't seen it yet, but there's a program called The Green Death, in which we have an enormous chase sequence with hovercraft and speed boats and jet boats and everything. And I eventually finished up, not wanting to, but I finished up owning the whole lot. Yeah. I bought them all because I loved them and used them for many years afterwards.
So it must have been quite fancy for you then.
But I like all forms of gadgetry.
Do you think then you were chosen as a change of pace from Patrick Troughton?
Yes, I think that was the idea. Yes, but originally I met my first producer not very long ago at a luncheon on our 20th anniversary luncheon, and he said that the reason that he chose me was because he wanted to utilize my ability to play the guitar and sing. Thank God he left the job before I actually took over, because it would have been appalling. I can't think of anything worse than a guitar-playing troubadour. Doctor Who. I mean, Pat had his penny whistle, that was fine, but I mean, to be sit and sing folk songs, I don't think is Doctor Who.
Be going too far?
Yeah.
Yes. You once said that playing the Doctor helped you realize who Jon Pertwee was. What exactly did you mean by this?
Well, I had a great friend of mine, sadly he's now dead, called Peter Sellers, and Peter and I both had the same sort of background. Peter had been an actor, then he became an impressionist and went on the music hall, and both of us worked in the music hall together in the West End. Do you remember somebody called Red Ingle?
No.
He was an American who made an enormously successful record called Cigarettes and Whiskey and Wild, Wild Women.
Oh, okay.
And he came to England and with his band, and Peter and I were on that bill, and we ran for a long time in the West End. We got to know each other terribly well then, that period. And then Peter went off and went into the film business. But in all the years that Peter was in pictures and all the brilliant films he made, never once did you ever see Peter Sellers. And up until Doctor Who, you'd never ever seen Jon Pertwee. We both of us hid what we call under a green umbrella of character. We never allowed our own personalities really to come through. We were always something else.
What did you learn about yourself when you?
Well, I learned to find that I could play me without characterizing, without sticking glasses on my nose or sticking on a beard. Or I still use that as a little bit of a green umbrella, the costume, so that I could be that much more flamboyant, which I couldn't be in normal, everyday, mufti. And so that helped me to have that flamboyance, which I wanted.
Do you have a favorite Doctor Who adventure?
Yes, the Demons. The Demons we shot on film. I think there was a strike on at the time, so we shot it all on film, and there are no monsters in it to speak of except at the very, very end. It's all done by atmosphere. Very, very spooky atmosphere of barrows, which are early pre-Christian burial grounds, and it was just an atmosphere. Winds, we had enormous winds, blew everything over.
Were you the wind?
No, I could have been. Yes, I could have been a Greek wind.
Why did you end up leaving the series?
Well, I did 5 years. 5 years is enough for anybody, really. It wasn't my invention. If it had been my invention, as my present show is, then I'd run that into the ground until I die. I'd be quite happy to, as long as the figures are good. But this was somebody else's invention, and it seemed to be after 5 years. And the team was breaking up. You see, Terence Dix left, Barry Letts left, my companions, Elizabeth Sladen, Joe Grant, and Katie Manning left. And Roger Delgado was one of my greatest friends who played the Master. He was sadly killed in a car crash in Turkey, and I thought, oh, well, that's the end of an era. It's time to go.
What was it like returning to your old role in The Five Doctors?
Oh, it was like it was yesterday. No problem at all. Well, I mean, we'd done the 2 Doctors, remember, with Pat Troughton and I, yes. Or the 3 Doctors, rather, because Bill was very sick, so he didn't actually act in it with us. He shot him on film and put him on a monitor, and so we acted to the monitor. But Pat's a great friend of mine, and we spark off each other very well. It's a pity he's not here for the conference, because we have a love-hate relationship, and we throw water all over each other and things.
Oh, yes. So you enjoyed the opportunity to
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And remember that they're all, most of them are my friends that I've known for years. And, so it was a joy. How the director never got the work out of it, I'll never know, because we were laughing so much.
Would you like to do it again?
Oh, yes, and we undoubtedly will. I mean, there'll be 5 doctors, 6 doctors, I expect.
And you will return?
Of course.
You get a bit nostalgic when you go back and do it overall?
No, not at all.
It's fun for
no,
me.
I just enjoy it. I like 2 things about it. I like the fun of doing it, and I like the money.
Do you have any preference between working on TV, stage, films, radio? You've done them all.
Yeah, I like working on the stage
Why?
because of the reaction. I like to play light comedy and hear the laughs.
I understand you put on a heck of a stage, or one-man stage show. It's,
Cabaret, you mean?
yes.
Yes, I work in cabaret, which is a spin-off of my old music hall act. I'd all started working in what you call vaudeville, and then I adapted it for cabaret. And now when I appear in conferences, in Doctor Who conferences, I do a couple of evenings of cabaret just for laughs.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's your first.
It goes on as long as I'm getting laughs. If I don't get any laughs, I go home.
How long does it usually go on then?
Well, it entirely depends on the laughs. I mean, it's been known to go on for 2 hours, but otherwise it's a quick 40 minutes.
Okay. You're known as the man of 1,000 voices for capturing your gift of capturing dialects and accents. How did you develop this talent? Was it natural or?
Yeah.
Here?
Yeah, my father had it, and my son's got it, and it's one of the things in our family that we've got an ear for copying. Copies here, not as an impressionist. I can only impersonate about 3 or 4 people, but to pick up eccentricities of voice, and they're all based on true people.
Oh, individual people?
Yeah,
rather than-
they're based on people. I mean, there was a lady who ran a tuck shop, which is a sweet shop and cake shop in the public school I was at called Sherburn in England. And she was a lovely old lady, and every boy used to go along there and ask for a long bun and a short bun and a glass of Tizer or pop. And she, being the polite lady she was, always pretended that she knew who that boy was. So she used to say, 1 long bun, 1 short bun, please, Mrs. Thompson. She used to say, thank you very much, Mr. Next. And she always had this shot. So I developed this into a character of a man who never could go to hell with the whole thing. We never could get anything out. He was called Mr. Weatherby Wet, and he ran for years and years and years in England. Everybody loved this and knew this character.
Did you ever come across one that you couldn't duplicate?
Who?
Could you ever come across an accent or a dialect that you couldn't duplicate?
Oh, yes. There are certain dialects. I mean, Geordie is terribly difficult.
Oh, what is that?
Geordie, that's from Newcastle on Tyne, up in the northeast of England. That's a very, very difficult dialect. There are certain dialects, but if you just generalise, like I could do an Irish or a Scots or a Cockney or a Cornish or whatever, do the basic dialect. But if you start pinning me down, saying now do a Scunthorpe or or do a particular part of Liverpool, I'd find it very hard.
I understand you're now involved in another series entitled Wurzel Gummidge. Could you tell us a little bit about it?
Wurzel Gummidge, yes, it's a story about a scarecrow who comes to life. He is made by a man called the Crow Man, who is the creator. So he in fact is himself. He's the creator, he's God, and he makes the scarecrows, and we look upon him as a God figure, and his word is law. The series started based on a series of books by a lady called Barbara Eufen Todd in the 30s, and they've been popular right up until this day. And about 9 years ago, Keith Waterhouse and Willis Hall, 2 of our most eminent writers, wrote a movie script for this to be made into a film and asked me to play the lead of Wurzel Gummidge the Scarecrow. I said I wanted to, but we couldn't get the money together, we couldn't get the distribution together, and so I said, make me a pilot, write me a pilot, and I'll see if I can send it to television. And I offered it to the BBC, and they turned it down flat. They said it had no future at all. Thames Television also turned it down, and another company. So I began to lose confidence in it until Southern Television picked it up, and we made it, and within 4 weeks we were a cult. And when we came off the air 2 years ago, we had 12 million viewers every Saturday, which is enormous figures. I have a feeling that the success of the show at 5:15 on a Saturday had something to do with a certain program, which we won't mention, being shifted from Saturdays to Fridays. I'm sure John Nathan would heartily disagree, but I have a feeling it was something to do with it because we got enormous figures. And we did have until the time we left and finished it, because Southern Television lost their franchise, unfortunately, and up till this time we haven't been able to get a company who's prepared to go forward and pick it up. It's a great source of amazement to us because I'm working in the Liverpool International Garden Festival at the moment, which is the biggest garden festival ever held in Europe. We draw 27,000 people, up to 30,000 people a day, and I'm there as a sort of logo, as a welcomer, as Wurzel Gummidge, and I'm surrounded by thousands, literally thousands of children, adults, old ladies, all gathering round, all wanted to come up and talk and shake my hand and tell me how much they love the program. So the public wants it, and we haven't got a company that will take it.
You seem quite committed to this series.
I'm tremendously committed to it. It's the best thing I've ever done, and we hope to sell it to America.
Why are you so committed to it? Is there a message in it?
Yes, there is a message to it. It's a very much of a moral program. It runs the gamut of emotions from A to Z. It moralizes to a degree. I mean, the Crow Man tried to teach me the sort of morals of situations. I have no brains. I'm made of twigs and straw, and I have no brain. So he tries to make me see things the right way, which I never ever do. Mm-hmm. I am madly in love with a wooden figure called Aunt Sally, which is played by our lovely Una Stubbs, one of our most talented actresses. And just the three of us are the regulars in it. And it has a sort of magic quality because I can be irascible one minute, and I can be sad and sorrowful the next, and I can be loving and lovable and horrid and beastly to children, and I can kick animals in the next minute, and you know, rather like the Mice and Men, and with the fellow loving the puppies to death, you know.
Well, we certainly wish you the best of luck in that project and any other future projects. I know your fans in this area are certainly looking forward to your next appearance in the 6, 7, 8, or 9 Doctors. In the meantime, John, thanks a lot for stopping by and talking to us.
Not at all. Great pleasure.